Okay, everybody, get ready. It's very exciting. We're going to OAN. It's one of my favorite places. It's like, OAN. And just one of my favorite makeup artists and wonderful people. And she's fabulous. We're about to see her. Okay, here she comes. Look at this. Oh. This is a show called In Focus. FBI reports overall decline in crime with Sheriff Mark Lamb. Obviously, this is a lie. Oh, I wish I could get my contour on my nose that good. Good Lord. It looks like she tried to squeeze between two spray cans in an auto body shop. Fabulous. Here we go.
NBC News is reporting new FBI data confirms previous indications that crime in the U.S. declined significantly.
Which is obviously not true. Look behind me.
Significantly in 2023, continuing a post-pandemic trend and belying widespread perceptions that crime is rising.
Which is, obviously, I just want to say good job so far. Your show has been fantastic at making people think the world is on fucking fire.
Yet again, we are being gaslit into...
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. I hate it. They're gaslighting us.
Submitting into a false narrative.
Real quick, though. What the fuck are you looking at? What are you looking at? Are you just on a Zoom call? I don't understand this. The fuck are you looking at?
So who are you going to believe?
Yes, who are you going to believe? Me, who can look right in the fucking camera? Or you, what the fuck are you looking at?
Mainstream media that would never lie or deceive you for the interest of the state.
Who are you talking to?
They serve, or yourself. Joining me now to discuss is Sherriff Mark Lamb, U.S.
Shocked me. He was looking right into the camera. Good Lord. By the way, I loved Woody Harrelson's portrayal of you in No Country for Old Men.
Senate candidate over in Arizona. Sheriff, thank you so much for being back with us.
State Senate?
Yes, it's great to see you again.
It is great to see you again. I can't even look you in the eyes, though. It gets so handsome in your big hat, which matches the walls of the business center at the Ramada.
Thank you for having me. It's great to see you as well.
Thank you. Well, I
have a quick question for you. Call it. What's the most you've ever lost on a coin toss? Call it. What this means everything. Call it. What? Call it.
Seems to me like this is yet another example of the Mockingbird media being in bed with the intelligence.
Mocking. Yeah. Ing. Yeah. Bird. Yeah. Mockingbird. Don't everybody have you. She's gonna buy me a mocking
community and just parroting what they report without actually looking into the details. But
yeah, and you've looked into the details. All you got to do is look over your shoulder and see that traffic is backed up. I got to say, it hasn't moved in, well, forever.
Is it possible, Sheriff, the reason these media meat puppets are saying crime is down is because law enforcement has been instructed not to make arrests?
Well, okay, you don't get crime stats just from arrests. Crime stats are actually from victim impact statements and reports. You don't even have to catch the person for the crime to be registered.
For reducing the report.
What do you think? All the dead bodies just got up and walked away? Think the rape victims just shook it off? You think the people who had their store raided and shit stolen out of it were just like, well, let's go to bed early and hit it hard tomorrow?
Reported crime numbers.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. If you don't hold people accountable, absolutely crime is going to go down, because if you...
So you're letting them go? Is that what you're telling me? You're sheriff, right? So your department's letting people go? They're just, because crime is up in maggot areas higher than it is per capita, especially in blue areas. So if these stats are a lie, you're just, I understand what you think about Baltimore and Chicago and DC and whatever the fuck, but there aren't enough people in there to sway the statistics without you guys. And so are you guys just letting them go?
You're not out charging people if the county attorneys or the district attorneys and those.
Doesn't matter. If they don't charge them, that doesn't mean the crime wasn't committed. It registers a plea and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean that the victim, what actually occurred, didn't happen.
The states or cities are not holding people accountable, it's going to look as if crime is going down. Not to mention the FBI has the ability to maneuver those statistics however they want.
Yeah, of course, they could just make them up. Just none of your business.
One of those statistics,
Chris Wray, another Trump appointee,
that the FBI does not collect from us through NIBRs, which we all hate, but we have to do it anyway because that's what
why do you hate it?
the federal government requires. But when we submit those statistics, one stat they do not collect is whether those crimes are being committed by people that are in this country illegally.
Yeah.
Yes. And if it did list it, it would show that those crimes are lower than all the rest. So you get to benefit from this.
It is just so incredibly disheartening. And another example of this is over in California, where Newsom decided that anyone stealing up to $900 worth of goods or merchandise would not be prosecuted. So that's just one example of
she said would.
Many, many others. But speaking of California, there's also now an explosion.
By the way, those are local ordinances, not state.
In the number of burglaries from South American gangs. I have a clip that was played on the mainstream news that I'd like to play for you, and then we'll come right back to discuss.
Oh, that's weird. So the fake news does get it right sometimes.
We have a significant increase in burglaries from organized groups that are outside this country, that are coming into the country, and they are targeting high-end residents.
Tourist burglar task force, not illegals, people who come in on an actual visa.
And we are addressing that specifically in a task force fashion through multi-agencies.
Lots of these.
What well, you can't tell me they're not charging anyone and then show me that they're forming a task force in Los Angeles about it.
Break-ins have been recorded by security cameras in
yeah, but they didn't happen.
recent years. Detectives tell me many tourist burglars who've been arrested often entered the U.S. through a visa waiver program.
A visa waiver program. Didn't come across the southern border. Didn't sneak around. Just had their visa waived because of problems and whatever. Just made a story up. By the way, those programs would be eliminated or, well, curtailed quite a bit in the border bill that Republicans refused to pass.
Many were visiting from Chile and other South American countries.
Ooh, visiting. Illegally visiting.
The LAPD says there have been more than 900 residential burglaries across the city since January. Some of those committed by the tourist burglars.
Some of them?
Who often target luxury homes in the foothills. And some of them may be using new technology to interfere with home security. Just last week, the LAPD's Wilshire station sent out this.
Wow, she's playing this whole fucking clip. You're just gonna, so OAN just borrows NBC's footage and just runs with it?
Alert that Wi-Fi jammers had been used to block camera and alarm signals during.
I was nowhere near the area. Stop it, you guys.
Some recent break-ins.
So these gangs are being referred to as tourist gangs, which sounds to me like a nice word to describe a new rash of burglaries that has really started on the heels of Joe Biden's orchestrated invasion, right? I mean, what?
No, because that would be the southern border you keep talking about. These people flew in.
What do you make of this?
He can't make anything of it. He doesn't know.
That's exactly right. And it's not.
No, it's not exactly right.
Isolated to California. We are seeing it here in Scottsdale, Arizona, Chandler, Arizona. We're seeing these Chilean gangs, Venezuelan gangs. I talked to the sheriff.
Yeah, Trump gave Venezuelans and Chileans a special waiver. That's the waiver they're talking about.
It's out in Oakland.
Real quick. The U.S. will defer for 18 months the removal of certain Venezuelan nationals right as he's leaving. My God, 18 months. What was the spike and stuff that was happening? It was almost as if Trump that's weird. President Donald Trump on Tuesday announced he will offer Venezuelan exiles protection from deportation, a move he's considered for years, but refused to do until his last full day in office. Trump is using a little-known Deferred Enforcement Departure Program, or DED, to offer temporary legal status to Venezuelans fleeing the humanitarian crisis brought on by Nicolas Maduro's regime. DED, similar to Temporary Protected Status, TPS, protects recipients from deportation and allows them to get work permits. However, it's granted directly by the president instead of the Department of Homeland Security. The deteriorative conditions within Venezuela, which presents an ongoing national security threat to safety and well-being of the American people, warrants the deferral of the removal of Venezuelan nationals who are present in the United States, Trump said in a memorandum released Tuesday. Based on Trump's memo, the U.S. will defer for 18 months the removal of certain Venezuelan nationals present in the U.S. on January 20th. It also allows Venezuelans to work during that period of time. Last year, the State Department had considered using DED to protect Venezuelans, but talks stalled over resistance to including relief for exiles in Trump's Venezuela strategy. The outgoing president's strategy centered around sanctions to put maximum pressure on the Maduro regime. The move to use DED instead of TPS stems from long-standing concern from some Republicans that TPS will eventually become a path to permanent residency in the United States. Deferred enforcement departure is designated by the president and gives the chief executive the ability to end it without as many procedural hurdles, which is why, by the way, this a similar rule that they want to extend to the border with under Biden, but is in that in the border bill. Like a version of shutting the what it takes to shut the border is a similar like DED setup. Offering DED to dead sounds weird. So DED to Venezuelans is expected to protect about 200,000 Venezuelan citizens in the U.S. from deportation, the same number it potentially would have under TPS, according to the congressional budget. Florida Republicans such as Mario Diaz-Balart have long pushed for the Trump administration to offer temporary legal status to Venezuelans, given the dire situation in the South American country. It was also long sold as a way to build more goodwill with South Florida's Venezuelan community. It's almost like he did it just because he lives in Florida.
County, Michigan, which is where a little bit right outside of Detroit. They're experiencing the same thing from the same gang. So yeah, this is a real problem. And you talk about what California is doing, how they are undermining the rule of law. We had a group of people come out stealing from, we got a call from one of our jurisdictions just outside of our county, 3 people stealing, 2 females, 1 male.
3 people, 2 females and 1 male.
They told us what the description of the vehicle was. We ended up finding the vehicle on the I-10 interstate. We pulled it over, high risk stop. We had our guns out. We got the people out of the car, 2 females.
Did she use the bathroom before she robbed the place?
Females, 1 male. And inside the car was all the stolen goods. When I walked back to the car, she says, well, why did you stop us? And I said, well, we had some thefts going on in these stores and you matched the description. So does your car and so does your license plate. And then she said to me, well, haven't you heard about the new law? Wow. And I said, honey, this is Arizona, not California. Here we call it theft.
For all our viewers.
Also, by the way, she was being bullshitted by the people she worked for. There is no new law where you can just steal. They're not going to stop you for that 900. That's the thing, on an individual basis. Once you work with somebody else, I got news for you. You don't each get to take $900 worth of shit. That's grand larceny. Pulled over without cause. Bullshit. If you match the description, you're being pulled over. Yeah, just for the record. Hold on 1 second. Give me a chatting me. Give me 1 second. Chat room. Thought I heard him. Thought I heard Chip right outside the door. I was like, "What are you doing? You silly dummy." I will get a kitty to end the show because I went long, so why not? So forgive me while I can't get that charging. There you go, and I'll shut down these screens. Talk amongst yourselves, and I will be back with a cat. You are a whole lot of kitty. You're a big man. We've decided he has Godzilla face. He's got like Godzilla's head. Cam and I decided. Look at this buddy. Look at this sweet boy. Look at this sweet boy. Do you want a snack? Is that what you wanted? Because he saw me. He was running around outside the door. I was like, oh, that's the snack noise. Uh-huh. Oh, boy. Yeah. Here we go. We'll get you one. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else and take care of the kidney.